Hello and good evening. I hope you all had a lovely day, and we're so excited that you're joining us tonight for Zero Waste with Grace. To get things started off, a few community guidelines. First, this is a community environment, so we want you to be honest and we want you to share your opinions and to be respectful to one another. If you are able to, please turn on your camera so that we can see your smiling faces. Commit to learning, not debating, listen to understand, not to respond, and what is said stays, what is learned leaves. And with that, it is my pleasure to welcome Grace Levita.
Thanks, Ian. Let me share my screen with my slide deck. I'm really excited to be here. Let me go full screen. So as Ian said, I'm Grace, and I'll be talking about zero waste today. Specifically, I'll be sharing my own personal journey with going into being more zero waste and reducing my own footprint. And so today I'll be talking a little bit about that. So without further ado, who am I? Well, I am, as Ian introduced me, my name is Grace Levita. I'm a junior studying material science and engineering here at the University of Illinois, as well as a member of class 26 of the HEF Technology and Management program. And I'm a planet lover. I care about the environment, I care about the earth, and that's why I'm talking about this today. A few things that I'm not an expert on zero waste. I'm not perfectly waste-free. As I'll talk about a little bit later, it's a gradual growth, and I'm here just, sharing my own experience with my progression. And I'm not any different than any of you who are probably here who also care about the environment, who also want to learn a little bit about being zero waste. And so that being said, I'll move into a couple things, a couple common misconceptions and a little bit about what zero waste is and isn't. So the first thing I'll say is being zero waste is not like an overnight shift. It's something that's a gradual growth. It's a gradual process. You don't all of a sudden become zero waste and stop producing garbage and stuff like that overnight. Another common misconception is that, when you want to go zero waste, you throw all your wasteful things out and buy all new things. Instead, like I said, it's a gradual growth. So, you'll use what you have and you'll replace sustainably. And then, one more thing that I'd like to bring up is that being zero waste doesn't just mean recycling more, saying, well, I'm not going to change any of my habits. I'll just recycle all the things I have. In fact, that's actually, definitely not what you should do. It's really just using less. And that's what it is in a nutshell. And so, that kind of being said, I want to talk a little bit about my why I'm choosing to talk about this, why I care about becoming zero waste, why I even got started with this in the first place. So it kind of all kickstarted about 2 years ago. I went to a summer conference in Chicago called Think Chicago. And there I listened to actually one of the T&M corporate sponsors, BP. I listened to them talk about something, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it. It's called climate change. And I'm sure you've heard of climate change. It's gonna actually shock you, but until this point, until 2 years ago, I didn't even know what climate change really was. Like I'd seen, people talk about it and global warming, but I really didn't know what that meant. And you're probably like, are you kidding? Like you're giving this talk, you definitely have always known. But no, I really didn't. And it all of a sudden took over my mind and was completely consuming my thoughts of like, how can I stop this? And it was really making me, think. And I started thinking about what my major is. I study material science, and I got thinking about Earth's materials, and it got me thinking a little bit about plastic. And if you're here listening to this talk, you probably know, and I won't, bore you or scare you with all of the stats on how many pounds and pounds of plastic are sitting right now in the landfills. But I started looking into that and thinking about it, and it was just completely overwhelming to me. And it was making me think about that. And then eventually I kind of heard about, going zero waste and stuff like that. And it just got me thinking about, what happens when all of a sudden one day so much plastic is here that it just covers everywhere. And it had me feeling quite panicked. And I'm sure a lot of you also have thought about waste or climate change or global warming or anything related to, anything like water. I mean, those are all different topics, but I'm sure you also all feel a little bit panicked at times, some more than others, but I'm no different than you in that I feel a little bit of that panic, and I just want to help reduce my own environmental footprint. So with that being said, a little bit about what I'm gonna just get into is I'm gonna talk about a couple different mind shifts slash lifestyle changes that kind of I started with to start off into my zero waste progress. And then I'm going to talk about a couple common waste pain points where a lot of people generate the most waste, and a little bit of where I started with making some small shifts. And it's great places to start as well on your own journey if that's what you're into. And then we'll have time to get into some breakout rooms and come up with your own little action plan, and also to meet other people who are also passionate about this. So let's get into it. Okay, so you might have heard of a little thing called reuse, reduce, and recycle. I'm sure you remember like being younger and like watching the Disney Channel and them like singing about it. I don't know. That's what comes to mind. I just remember like Miley Cyrus. I don't know, like singing about this on Disney Channel, and I was always like, oh yeah, like environment. But something I thought of is that when thinking about going zero waste and stuff like that, that kind of becomes, of course, still great to think about, but something you want is to add to this mindset. So you want to add a couple extra things. So with this, you'll kind of want to add, before anything else, before reusing, reducing, and recycling, you'll want to add rethinking. So that's just kind of rethinking your overall lifestyle, thinking about, do I need this? Do I need to use so much of this? Is there another way of doing this? How can I switch this up to make it more sustainable? And just kind of overall questioning your way of doing things and questioning how you can make them better. And just kind of having a little bit of a growth mindset, as Ian would say. The next thing that also is a must add to your lifestyle and to your mindset is refusing. So this one's a little bit tricky, and this one was hard for me to get started because I showed up to the grocery store with my reusable bag, but I'm just kind of holding it and being quiet, and I'm nervous, and I'm like, the next thing I know, my groceries are in plastic bags, and I didn't say anything. So it's okay to be like, what, hi, I have my own bag. What, hi, I won't be using a plastic cup. I brought my own. And a lot of times people actually do respect that, and they appreciate when you speak up and refuse those things. And then repurposing. So, reusing is kind of taking reusing to the next level. Sometimes I think, you can only reuse a glass jar until you are out of things to fill it up with, and try to think of sometimes how I can use something, or how I can make something into something else that I need without going out and buying new things. So those are three, mindset shifts that I started with adding to my usual routine, and that is a great place to start. Okay, so next, some large areas of personal waste that a lot of people don't realize are creating a lot of waste, and when I started thinking about it, I realized, wow, I generate a lot of waste. Purchases, when you go out and buy things, in the kitchen, so cooking and garbage, and then in the bathroom, with certain products and etc. So I'm just going to talk next about, a couple of the main areas that are wasteful, and then a couple of easy swaps, first swaps that I made. There's definitely others, and there's tons of stuff that I haven't tried yet, but these are just some areas. So purchasing, so you have plastic grocery bags, coffee cups that you'd get from like Starbucks or Dunkin' in the drive-thru or something like that. Produce bags, when you're going to the grocery store. Receipts when you're purchasing things. Actually, shout out my sister, she's here today, and she actually taught me about this one. Paper receipts are actually not made out of paper. They're made out of plastic that's lined with BPAs, and if you actually put them in the recycling bin, it actually contaminates the whole bin. So that's another misconception, and we get a lot of receipts, when you go out and purchase stuff. So that's something to keep in mind. And going digital with receipts is a great option. Plastic utensils when you're getting takeout, and then of course getting things shipped to you. But a great alternative is to buy in person when you can, as now the vaccine rollout's going well. So some common solutions, and that are really easy, is buy grocery bags and take them to the store. Reusable produce bags. I bought a pack of these and I love them. You can just throw them in the washing machine. Bamboo cutlery that you can take with you. a reusable coffee cup or cup or whatever. When you go out, you can use that. I know some places right now are not taking them because of the pandemic, but as things are getting better, you can always ask and see if they'll let you use your own container, but that's always an option. And then taking a straw with you. I have I forgot what brand I have, but I have one of these and they're awesome. You can just take it with you. Okay, so in the bathroom, this is another common area. So you have your common plastic, shampoo containers, conditioner, soap, etc. And a lot of these, the caps and closures aren't really made out of recyclable things. And so that's very wasteful. Toothpaste tubes are actually lined with metallic chemicals on the inside and plastic on the outside, which make them not reusable or recyclable at all. Disposable razors, toothbrushes, these are made out of plastics. And so this is actually a product that I had no idea that was like added up in so much of the landfills over time. But even your plastic toothbrush, this is definitely more for women, but female product, only for women, but feminine care products, they generate a lot of waste. And then wipes. Another common misconception is that like wipes can biodegrade similar to like toilet paper, but actually they're made out of a polymer. And so they take about as long to degrade as plastic bottles do. So a couple of solutions that I've implemented and that I think are really cool are a safety razor where all you're replacing is like the metallic razor blade, toothpaste tablets, mouthwash tablets, those are really cool and plastic free, reusable rounds versus using wipes, bar, shampoo, soap, conditioner, they're really cool and actually really fun to use. Bamboo toothbrushes are actually the same, relatively like the same price. So I've switched to those and I think they're really fun. And menstrual cups for women. I'm always here to talk about my own recommendations for everything too, if that's something anyone ever wants to talk about. And then the last thing of common waste pain points are in the kitchen. So a couple things is plastic sandwich bags, saran wrap, just overall packaging from food and things from the grocery store, meat products or animal products. A lot of people don't know that meat, when being processed, emits a lot of carbon emissions, and so cutting back on this actually really helps the environment. So I've gone pescatarian, and I've loved it, and that's a cool way to start, is cutting back even just one meal a week without meat. Actually, if you look into it, it does save a lot of emissions. And then just overall letting produce go bad, that's also wasteful. And so here are a couple solutions. There's these like food huggers. I bought a pack of these and they actually keep food really fresh, really long. Reusable bags. I bought the Stasher brand and they actually work really well and function the exact same, but you get to reuse them. Beeswax wraps, they act similarly to like plastic saran wrap. Reusable towels that you can throw in the washing machine. Another thing is a lot of times people are like, well, I buy, this specific type of thing and it comes in a package, so I don't know what to do about that. Well, I recently learned that I like oat milk, and I recently learned how to make it myself. And so that's something too that's always an option, is learning how to make things with materials that don't come in packaging. And that's something that I've looked into a lot and I find really interesting. So I put a picture of that there. And then buying in bulk where you don't need to buy stuff in packages. There's a lot of stores, especially in the Champaign-Urbana area, like, oh my gosh, sorry. Like Harvest Market, where you can buy things in bulk. So yeah, and then something else I'll just add quickly, before I move on, is that while a lot of these things you might be thinking, wow, that's kind of an investment, like these reusable bags, like they might be expensive. Well, when you think about it like that, yes, sometimes when you use things that you have and you replace sustainably, yes, sometimes that can be a little expensive, but you're actually saving money in the long run. And that's something that I've thought about a lot, is that I'll never need to buy plastic bags again. I'll never need to buy, paper towels. I won't need to replenish on stuff like that. So that's also something to keep in mind that I see as a huge positive. So moving on, now that I've kind of touched on a little bit of my journey and my why, I think Stephanie or Ying is going to send you guys into some breakout rooms of around 3 to 4 people. And so in those breakout rooms, I would love if you guys could introduce yourselves, talk about a little bit about who you are. Also talk a little bit about your why. It's always interesting to hear what other people's reasons are for, wanting to attend something like this. Talk about some of the ways that you already reduce waste. I love to always hear about what other people do, and I learn new ideas from others. And I'm not perfect. There's definitely other things that I still want to do and want to try. So talk about that, and then also kind of come up with your own action plan. Talk it out with some other people, and come up with 3 to 5 new things that you want to try to reduce your own personal waste. So with that, are we set to go?
I'll open the breakout rooms now.
Thank you. All right, see you guys. Welcome back, slowly but surely. We'll give it like another couple seconds for everyone to come back. Let me know once all the rooms are shut.
They're all shut. Very good to go.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a good time in those breakout rooms. I know that there probably wasn't time for all of you to share everything and all of you to come up with an action plan, but of course, those are things that, can always be happening. But I do want to hear a little bit about what you guys talked about. I would love to hear, my favorite part about like zero waste stuff and sustainability stuff is hearing other people's perspectives, because, I only know so much. Like I said, I'm not an expert, and I love to hear more. So does anybody want to share, something that they talked about in those breakout rooms? Maybe their why, maybe, some ways that they already reduce waste, or something that really stood out to them as to, a next step for them in their zero waste journey. Just feel free to come off mute. You don't need to like raise your hand or anything.
We had an interesting topic we talked about, and we talked about receipts, because that's something you put a little more effort on, or a little more emphasis on, and that was great. And a lot of places, especially these big companies, will just print the receipt for you, even if you ask for no receipt. So we were saying, what if we did something about it? What if we talked to these companies and we said, hey, maybe instead of automatically printing the receipt, because the customer has no say right now, there are places that you could touch on the screen, like email receipt or no receipts, or they like have to ask you if you want a receipt, because I'm sure there are plenty of people that don't even like the hassle of the receipt anyways. So yeah, maybe there's something people can do, or we can do, to talk to those big companies that already have automatically printed receipts.
Yeah, that's a really great thing. It had me thinking about like Walgreens. I know that they started doing, you can have an option, and now whenever I go to Walgreens on campus here, they're like, you'll be getting emailed a receipt, and it's just that it's automatically like you can just select that. So that's a really good thing. Thanks, Charlie. Who else?
I can go. So first of all, on campus, I've been pressuring dining and restaurants to use reusable containers instead of single use. Fun fact, university dining alone used 800,000 entree containers, all of which went straight into the garbage. So it's a big issue, and that's what I've been, working on here on campus and making progress. And then another fun fact that everyone talked about were bidets. So if anyone, someone in our group said that they really enjoyed trying one, so they want to talk about that more. For anyone else has, any perspectives, there's another option to go zero waste.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. If anyone's interested in hearing more about Justin's reusable container thing, he has a blog on the TNM Seminar website. I can't find it right now while I'm sharing my screen, but it's awesome. I still have to update some of his stats, but it's really important stuff. And I have a friend that just installed his own bidet on campus, and so that's definitely a doable thing. I'm not ready yet to make that switch because I have a ton of toilet paper that I accidentally stocked up on, but one day. Anyone else? Maybe we can get one more person.
I'll go. I just feel, I feel extremely motivated after like everything you said. And even though I do practice being environmentally like sustainable, hearing you talk tonight makes me like so much more motivated to keep going and do more to help reduce our carbon footprint.
Thanks, Frank. That's my sister, everyone. She came out for this special event. But yeah, thank you, Frankie. And so, yeah, with that being said, I love hearing about it. If anyone ever, you guys all have my contact information because everyone, I mean, Frankie's my sister. She can just hit me up whenever, but like, everyone else here is in the T&M program. And so you can always like message me on Slack, on GroupMe, email, whatever, you guys have that. I'm always here to talk about zero waste stuff. I'm always here to hear about, you know, your experience, your new things. I'll get a little bit later to a platform in which we can talk a little bit more about it. But I really wanted to just share this quote with you guys really quickly. And it kind of just sums up in a nutshell what I'm trying to do here. And it's really just, remember not to judge people when you see them throwing out plastic water bottles in the garbage, or like, you know, it hurts me sometimes, right? But like, it's hard not to judge them, and just remember that everyone's growth is individualistic, and really just to, you know, try to inspire rather than judge. And I love this quote here. It actually was the first quote that I've ever saw. And it's, we don't need a handful of people doing this perfectly. We need everyone to do it imperfectly and try to have this gradual growth and, you know, keep going and learn new things. So it reminded me of all of you, and thank you so much for listening to me. And I hope you guys tell your story to other people too. Quickly, before I wrap up, there's 2 QR codes that if you want to quickly scan, I'll go back to the slide after. But the one on the right is if you're in T&M, scan that and please join our sustainability Slack channel. We will be starting this week with Sustainability Saturday with 1 tip a week, or new product or anything like that. And if you are not in T&M, these will be actually posted on our Instagram. So feel free to follow the Instagram for that as well. And then on the left, there is a Pinterest board with all that I've made for everyone. And you can follow that or just pin that if you want. And that has a ton of other things that I didn't mention that I've been trying to do. So feel free to grab that as well. It is 7:30. I know that we are right on time here. I wanted to say thank you so much again. I love talking about this. Again, feel free to always start this conversation with me. I'm always here for it. And I'm going to quickly pass it to Stephanie to do a group photo. But thank you so much. And I've had so much fun.